as much as I can. Okay, so you're all welcome. You're all welcome. So moving forward, uh, I would like to ask a few questions and just run a few polls before we go ahead into this session proper. Okay, so the first question, I'm going to launch the poll now, and I would like to just get an idea of how will you rate your Figma knowledge and usage? How will you rate how well you know how to use Figma? Um, so the first option is a novice. I don't know anything about it. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that was supposed to be novice. Then the other one was supposed to be beginner. You're just starting. Then intermediate. I know and can get a few things done with Figma. Then the professional, I can bend Figma to my will. So basically, I would just like to get an overview of the audience we have. How well do you know how to use Figma and all of that? So I can see we have about 60%, 66% of the poll field already. Can we get a 70%? Okay. All right. I'm going to close it at exactly 1 minute. Okay. Yes, I got the 70%. Thank you so much. So we have quite a lot of intermediate folks here who know and can get a few things done. But then we have an equal amount of novice and beginners in the house. So that's not a problem. Now we know the lay of the land. It's going to be so much easier when we are discussing to know how we're going to, go through Figma as a tool. Okay, so with that being said, uh, let me quickly take an overview. So where are you joining in from? As I'm going to, before I introduce the facilitator for today's session, I also just quickly get to know where you're joining us from. So I would just like to quickly know. I see we have a few people in the house. Where are you joining us from? I just like to know where you're joining us from. So you could just do that in the chat, or you could go ahead to unmute yourself to speak. Hello. Okay. Yeah, I can see someone joining from Lagos. Yes. Great. Okay. Another person joining in from Lagos. Awesome. Great stuff. Great stuff. Lagos. Okay. I see a lot of Lagos people here. Thank you so much for all those joining from Lagos. Could I have anybody else that is not joining in from Lagos? Let's say, I don't know. Do you have anybody in the house not joining in from Lagos? Okay, I think okay, I like that one. Lagos UAR. That's an interesting one. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Okay. Without any further ado, I would just like to call on our facilitator for today. He is no other person but a product designer who over the 5 years now, he has been. Okay, we have somebody from Ibadan. Hello. So going back to introducing our facilitator, his name is Olawale Samuel, and he's a product designer, currently a product designer at Bridgecage, and he has been a product designer for over 5 years now, and he has been learning and he has been doing awesome stuff. And today, basically, he's here to share with us his experience in product design with a focus on how to do it with Figma. So if you have any questions at any point in time, please go ahead and drop it in. Olawale, hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, good evening, Favor.
Yeah, good evening to you too as well. Yeah, you're welcome. So
Thank you very much.
While Olawale is taking the stage, I would like us to answer this question and is preparing to take over. I would like to ask two questions basically. The first one is, what do you think Figma is basically used for? What do you think Figma is basically used for? Okay, so what do you think Figma is basically used for? Anyone wants to give that a shot in the chat? So what's your take when you hear Figma? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? That's like the question we're asking. Once you hear Figma, what's that word that comes to your mind? Okay, I'm waiting for some response in the chat. So I believe Olawale is getting set for hers. So while he's doing that, okay, I have one. Designing, prototyping. Okay, user interface design and prototyping. Interesting. So we see a lot of design coming in. Okay, design. Interesting, design and creating wireframes. Awesome, awesome. I like this. So now with that being said, what is that one thing that you would hope to achieve after joining the session today? So what do you hope to achieve at the end of the masterclass today? What's that one thing? Just one thing you hope to achieve at the end of the masterclass today. Just that one thing you hope to achieve. I can see a lot of design coming in as regards what Figma stands for, yeah, and that's it, design really. But yes, what's that one thing you want to achieve at the end of today? Let's get drop. You can just put just one or two of those things you would love to be able to achieve after attending the Figma masterclass today. Okay, I'm waiting. And welcome to all those who are just joining in. Thank you very much. I see Abraham, I see Wumi, I see Joy, I see Yvonne, Olade. Welcome everyone. Um, okay, I see Bola Joko says, Bola is saying, I would love to complete a project on Figma with the knowledge I gained today. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and I can see, okay, yeah, I'll wait for a few others to come in. Thank you very much for that, Bola. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. Awesome. All right. Without any further ado, I would like to welcome fully to the stage Olawale Samuel. Olawale, how are you doing? Once again.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I mean, like, it's, like, thank God.
Yeah. We have to just thank God, in the UAR where the bed no longer flies.
I mean, as things they go, I mean,
yeah. All right. Welcome, man. So it's over to you. You can share your screen now. And
okay.
let's get set on the Figma Masterclass. By the way, I hope you all are prepared with your PC on the side, to practice alongside and with Olawale.
Yeah. So I'm sharing my screen now. All right. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see this beautiful road that I know is
mean,
not in UAR at all.
I mean, as in, so uh, good evening, everyone. My name is Olawale Samuel. I'm a product designer. Yes, so it's been a very long journey from thank God, for where we are today. So this evening, like, we want to look into how we can use Figma to design digital products that people can interact with. Uh, you know, like when you design something on Figma, like you share it with the developers. I mean, the engineers. Be it mobile app or a web app. Like after the design, you share with people to actually make it available for people to use. So we'll be talking about Figma. So this is a Figma Masterclass brought to you by Treford. So I'm happy to be here today. I'm very happy. It's an honor. So talking about Figma, we want to start with how we can set up Figma. Based on the poll that we just did now, like we noticed that like quite a number of people are just getting to start with Figma. So although there are some that, like they've already done one or two things already on Figma. So which is cool. So we still need to like show us the ones that just want to get things done, like how to get around stuff. So although I won't be going in depth into the whole basic stuff, like I just want to like show us some little stuffs. So I'm going to Figma now. So like it's all about, you have to get an account, like when you sign up, like you enter your details and create an account. So after you created your account, then you can have access to something like this, where you have a recent project that you've worked on, So this is the Figma interface. On this interface, it is very essential that we try to get to, understand how this interface works, So as you can see here, I have my, so like what is happening here is nothing serious. So this is just what you see when you just created an account. Let me try something again, so that's, it won't be like, coming. Okay, so let me use the other one. Okay, so I just want to show us how you log in. So there's nothing tedious there, like it's all about logging in and just getting access to this view. So on the right panel, you have where you can, switch accounts if you have more than one account and actually view your profile. So you can search your projects on this top left navigation bar. Then on the right, on the left panel also, you have the projects that you've worked on and the teams based on project that you worked on. So this is kind of like a second account of mine. So I just want to use this one to, take this class day. So we have list of stuff that you've worked on, and here on the top right corner, you have access to other menu like community profile, where you can actually view your profile on Figma, and also you have access to plugins and settings, so we can change some few things about yourself. We can add pictures and all. So without wasting our time, there's one important stuff I want to show us, which is the new button. So when you create, like if you go to the upper corner, like the right upper corner of the screen, you see design file and the new feature that Figma just kind of like launched like recently, which is the Figjam file. And we're going to talk about that too. So also you can import other files like Sketch and some other file extensions that Figma supports. So also you can check templates, available templates from Figma, whereby like you have presets like based on the screen type, iPhone, desktop, and also you can use it to create slides. So you can use design system templates and wireframing presentations, and you can actually go to the community to check on templates. Also, you have templates for Figjam too. There are so many things there that you can do. But today we just want to talk about, like, based on what I have prepared with, for us. So like setting up Figma is just, you creating an account and logging in, after you've verified your account. So that's how you set up your Figma account. So like getting started, the interface, we talk about the important tools and some useful keyboard shortcuts. So I've shared a particular document, like a PDF, a 2-page PDF document that contains the keyboard shortcuts for Figma that you can use when you are working. It's not all the time that you try to use your mouse to browse, right click, and look for menus. So you just use some shortcuts, and everything becomes seamless, and the workflow gets easier. So we want to talk about the interface, the important tools, and useful keyboard shortcuts. So I'm going to create a new file. So the new file is loaded on my screen. So sorry, I want to hide my bookmark. So this is a plain. Let me check the chat. Okay, all right. So this is a plain, an empty Figma screen. So now I want to create an artboard, something like a canvas, to start my design. So before I start anything, I want to change the name of this file. Like I want to change the name to let's say Treford Masterclass Design Pro Max. So like this area where you have the this place where you have, let me increase my screen so that you can see what I'm working on. So this area is where I have just changed the name of my file. You can change it to anything. You can change it to only Treford Masterclass. So it can be like that. So now I want to talk about this interface. So Figma is, as we've discussed earlier, that Figma is a design tool that used to create interface for products and also to prototype. Yes, that's true. And also you can actually use it for normal little graphic stuff, to just make one or two things. So right now, if I want to work on something, let's say I want to create a screen. So all I just have to press is the letter A. So if I press letter A, I want us to notice the changes on the screen. So like we have this left part, this upper left side. Then we have some other items on the upper right corner. Then we have this right panel and we have this left panel. So the main thing about this interface is that like everything that we worked on, like on this space, we appear on both sides. But what we appear here is the name of the files that we have. Let's say we draw a rectangle, or we are working with an image, or we are working with anything. So the name of that file will show up at the left side, and the informations about the current item that we are working on will come up at the right panel. So that means like if we are working, like let me show you. So I want to start something now. So I want to create like a desktop view, So I'm pressing my keyboard shortcut A. So pressing that keyboard shortcut A, it's telling me that okay, I've been switched to the frame icon on the, like if you check the left side, at the upper side of the screen, you see that the icon changed, from this to this. So then on the right side, I have a list of different interface that I can work on: Android, iPhone, tablets, desktop, presentation, to create slides, then watch, like smartwatches, screens, paper, A4, and the likes, letter, social media for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Dribble, LinkedIn, and all. then also like Figma community files like the icon, banner, and file cover. So I'm coming back to this file cover later, and so I'll say some little stuff about it. So pressing my A like on the keyboard brings out all these things. So let's assume that we want to work with, let's just say I just picked, I picked Google Pixel 2XL. So clicking on that Google Pixel 2XL gives me the size of the actual Google Pixel screen. So I don't need to edit this screen, as this is the original size for the device. So now, this is an artboard. So like I said earlier, that we have two sides. We have the right panel and we have the left panel. So as the moment I clicked on this artboard, it gives me information on the current artboard I'm working on. So as you can see, you have the name of the artboard towards the left side. So I can change the name to something else, like maybe that's your home page, or maybe like login screen, sign up screen, or the splash screen, or authentication screen, anything. You can change the name to anything. So like right now, before I change the name, I just want to make reference to the other side, which is the right panel. So on the right panel, like if I click out of the artboard, you notice that like everything disappears, so. But once I click on the artboard, it gives me information on the current selection, on this current item, which is the artboard. So the most important part of design, like generally, is the options that we have on a particular element that we are working on. So like on this artboard now, I have options like I can change the orientation of the artboard, either horizontal or vertical. So I can, resize to let the stuff fit to the to the screen. So then also I can change the frame size, which is the artboard, to another device, either iPhone SE to iPhone 11 Pro Max. So taking it back to Google Pixel 2XL. So then we have auto layout, which I'm coming to. We have layout grid. I'm coming to that too. But grid, for people that do CSS or something, like grid is just like the spacings on the number of spacing that we have on the current artboard. So for this layer, we have effects. This is layer effect. We have pass through, normal, darken, multiply. I will also talk about this soon. So I just want to give us a quick overview of why it is very important for us to take note of this right panel. So you can change the color, which is the fill. You can add more fill. You can add more color. To actually, so you can do that. So I'm trying to remove that. So we have stroke. Stroke is like the external indicator. Like something that indicates the space around a particular shape or design element. Any element that can take up the stroke attributes. So if I change this number to like 10 now, you will notice what I'm saying. I mean, what I'm trying to like talk about. So stroke is kind of like the outer indicator for the space around the current object. So I can change the color too, So as you can see, I'm clicking on this color, this red color, or if I have a particular color code, if I search a color code online, I can put it maybe like F2 FF00, so which is yellow. So, and also I can actually use the color picker to change it to something else, to change the transparency here from 0 to 100. So you can also enter the value here. Then we have the effects, we have the drop shadow, the layer blur. Like I'm still going to use all of these things. I just want to show us, because one of the main major thing I've noticed about stuff like this is that, you know, if you can just get to understand all these options, it will really help to you know, when you want to work on anything. So once you have the picture and you have the plan on what you want to do, you know exactly where you go to and what you need to kind of like tweak, to make things happen the way you want it. So you really have to kind of like go through these things and try to like play with it and try to see what they do, so that by the time you are needing it, you know that, oh, I need to add a drop shadow. I need to click on the drop shadow icon. I need to increase the opacity and and um, try to just do stops and make everything work out. And finally, on this, you can export. If I want to export this particular artboard, all I just have to do is click on export. It will add the current artboard to the export option. Then I can change the size. If I want to export something, that is 4 times of the current size of this, I'll just click on 4. So I'll click the file format, which is PNG, JPEG, SVG, PDF, and select anyone I want to work on. Then click on export. Then it will come to my file folder locally, so it will be downloaded automatically. So now, like the summary of what I just did is that, like, when you have a particular element, when you have a current element, you kind of have to make sure that you notice what is happening on the right panel and also on the left panel. So like this is an artboard, like you can change the name, like you can come here and right click on the left panel and try to go through the options. You can see you have numerous options here that with things you can do on the current selected item. So if you click on rename, it will give you the input space to just change the name to, let's say, home. So I've changed the name to home. Then also you can actually try to use a shortcut, like a keyboard shortcut, like by pressing Control R, like that's Control button plus R. It gives you that input space to kind of like change the name. So you just change the name and press enter. So like on this left panel, we have the layer and the asset. We'll talk about the asset later. But assets are just something that you create for for usage, for next time usage, that something kind of like a component that you think that you'll be using from time to time. So you just want to make it once and pick it from where you have it and kind of like try to just use it when you need it. So like before we move on, like this upper part, I want to explain what we have here. So if you click on this main menu, you can go back to the recent files, have the options here, different options like file where you can save local copy, and also go to your settings. You have options to make some changes on how you want things to look like and all. So also you have the frame tool, which is F, shortcut is F. We have the move tool and the scale tool. You have the shape tools like rectangle, line, arrow, ellipse, polygon, star, and also if you want to place an image. Also, you have the pen tool and the pencil tool. The pen tool is is something that people have been trying to understand how to use it all this while. Whereas it's a cool thing to do. I mean to use. You just have to make sure that you play with it more so that you try to like get how the whole thing works. And when you're done, just press enter. So I will be talking on this pen tool, a little bit also. Then we have the text tool where you can use it to enter text on the artboard or to just create text element. Then you have the hand tool to move things around. Then you have the comment to drop a comment for other guys, like maybe you want to tell them like, good job. Can you please change the color to red, and let's see how it looks like. So when you post it, so the comment will come to the right side of the page, and so you can actually add comments almost every part of the page. So that's that about the interface and some. Let me check what's going on. Okay, so like mics are muted, so let me know how far we are moving so that I can know how we can proceed. Like if my speed is too much, please let me know. If I'm rushing, if I'm anything you feel is going on before we proceed. All right, while waiting for responses, so like we
hello, Ali. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you are doing good. I'm following. I think it's okay. Maybe
Okay.
Probably because I'm using my Photoshop knowledge, just the move to and everything. But I think it's okay, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for the feedback. So we talked about the interface and and the tools. Like every tools that we have on Figma is actually important. The only thing is like to complement everything that we do on Figma, we have advanced tools like plugins. So like things that you could have done, manually, you just use plugin to just automate the process, which makes work easier and faster. And so we are going to talk about that too. So then for the useful keyboard shortcuts, I will be mentioning some along the way, and also I've shared the PDF file, like I said earlier, with Favor. So it will be sharing it with everyone probably at the end of the session. So moving on. So there's something I just want to change. I want to make like a little addition. So I want to chip in something. I can say that like whether you're using the person that gave us feedback now said he does a Photoshop. So I'm very sure it's not everybody that is using Photoshop or Illustrator or Affinity Designer or CorelDRAW or any other design stuff, even any other product design app out there, like Prototyper, Adobe XD, Vision, this one, that one. So I just want to give some simple stuff that I've discovered over the year. That in design, what you are working with is like you're working with shapes, you're working with images, you're working with text and other elements. So it will be, I think it will look more simpler if I say this, that when you have a shape, let me go back to my screen so that I can show you what I'm talking about. So like I have this shape now, like I want to make a shape. So if I want to make a rectangle shape, I just have to click on my letter R on the keyboard. So I press my R key, then I draw a rectangle shape. So having a rectangle shape, as you can see, I have the name of the shape on the left panel, rectangle 1. I can rename it to anything, but let's just move on with that. So now we have at this right side, the properties of this particular rectangle. So now, let's say this rectangle is meant for like a button. Let's say you want to draw a button. So, and you're thinking like, okay, I want to have a button and so they said I should share my video. Okay. All right. So I'm showing my face now. Let me. Okay, I'm doing it now. Okay, we got this. So we got this now. All right. So I see my face now. So all right. So so like I was saying, so what we're working with, in design is, manipulation of shapes, images, and other design elements, like text, images, shapes. Shapes comes in different formats, like circle and rectangle and the like. So I have a rectangle which is drawn by pressing my letter R on the keyboard. So I have this rectangle. So if I want to make changes with it, all I just have to do is, like I have this rectangle. So what do I want to do with the rectangle? So I want to make a button. Is it like a sharp button, sharp edges, or with something like a rounded, edges? So these are the things that we want to like look into, and this is one of the things I want you guys to just get from this class. I mean, from this session, because I used to tell people that like anything design is not really about the tool. Yeah, you have to know the tool, getting your way around, but like, it starts with what you really want to do, So, and most of the time when you have the picture already, which is a good thing, then the next thing is to just master the tool, So like I have a rectangle now, so I want to make a button. So I've already decided that, okay, I want to make a rounded button. So how do I make that possible? So this is how you can do that. So having this rectangle now, like I can come to my right panel and check all the available options, everything that is there. I need to check it because I don't know how to even make a rounded button, which is a fancy thing to do. So how do I make it possible? So I'm going to the right panel on Figma and trying to check around the stuff, how you can go about it. So start from the top, you have the X, which is X and Y distance, so which shows me the distance on the artboard, which this item is located. Then also we have the W and H, which is the width and the height of the current item. So let's say I have a design specification that say, okay, for the button use 250 pixel width and 50 pixel height for the button. So I already made that happen by changing the width and the height of the current item that is selected, which is a rectangle. So, what I'm doing right now is I'm manipulating this rectangle to actually be like that thing that that picture that I have or that particular specification that I've been given, you know. So also we have other properties, you know. So, but why I'm trying to like make my mouse to go over it stuff. So I saw its rotation. I saw this one is corner radius. Okay, let me try this corner radius. I don't even know what it's going to do, but I want to just put in a particular figure. So let me try 10. So I tried to enter 10. I was like, oh wow. So this thing is giving me a rounded shape already. So let me increase the value. So I try to enter 25. Oh wow, I have this rounded button already. This is cool, but on the design specification, I was told that this button should be black, but this is kind of like a gray color. So I still have to go to the right panel and try to check for the properties, for the settings, something that can look like a color, maybe like a color code, you know, I don't know. So I was saying C4, C4, C4 here. So I saw something that is kind of looking like the color that this shape is currently having. So I try to click on it. Oh, this thing pops up, and you know, like I was like, okay, what do I do? So I saw this particular points, you know, so I tried to like just drag it out, like, oh, okay, the colors are changing, you know. So I have a slider here, you know, to change the groups of color and, you know, to play with it. And based on the design specification, I was told that, okay, the button should be black. So, and I noticed that the black color is towards the lower part of the color picker space. So I achieved it. I didn't know this before, but now I can do it. So I can do it again by selecting my elements and going to the right panel of the screen and clicking on the color, the fill color. So now, one thing about color and the other design elements is I tell people that are like, at least, you know, from my only two experience, you know, like you really need to marry yourself to the basics of design, you know, talk about the design elements, colors, shapes, image, and all. Then the design attributes, you know, like alignment, spacing, uh, arrangement, hierarchy, and some other stuff, contrast, you know, like, and some other stuff like that, which I will just chip in some little stuff. So this Figma of a thing is all about the elements. You know, you just have to check the current element that you have and know what you want to do with it, which takes me back to the explanation that I was talking about, that design is all about manipulation of different elements, you know, shapes, images, text and all. So like if I have a text now, so if I want to make a text, I clicked on my keyboard, which is T, keyboard shortcut T. So I press the T and I clicked on the screen. So I write login. So I have login as a text. So now I have it selected and the name of the text is showing on the left panel. But on the right panel, I have different attributes of this text. So how do I manipulate this text? How do I change the values? What can I do with it? Now, like I know I've been skipping over this top right panel of, like this right top right panel, you know, like it's called alignment, you know, it's the alignment settings for every element that you have selected. The reason why I'm not talking about it is because I don't have enough element on the screen yet, but I'll just say something, you know, little about it now. So this login, I can make some alignment changes to it. So let me zoom out and show you what can be done. But before that, I want to increase the size of this login. So I want to go down and try to look for the, okay, so I have text. So on the text, I have a drop down. So what does the drop down does? It gives me options to more font type. So that means I can change the shape of the font. But there's a particular font that I want to use. I want to use Open Sans. So, and how do I know Open Sans? I got to understand that Open Sans is a good font to use, So it has different variants. Like you can use the semi-bold, you can use the bold, you can use the extra bold, you can use the italic type of the font. So I want to use something that is a little bit semi-bold. Then I have a figure here that I can change. So that means this is possible that this is the size of the font. So let me use 36. Oh, this is the font size. So this is too big. So let me try 18. I think 18 is good for me. So I'm trying to like drag it. And as you can see on the screen, like there's a particular red line that is showing now. So this red line tells me that this item that I've already clicked on and trying to like drag on the artboard is vertically centralized to the center of the screen. So all I just need to do is to move this font, the text up a little bit to the position of the rectangle that I have before. But as you can see, they have the same color. So it's based on law of contrast, it will not come up. So I need to change the color. So I clicked on the text and go to the right panel to check something like a color. So now, that takes me back to the concept of the color that I wanted to explain the other time. So in colors, you have the fill and the stroke. So now, I'm trying to like, I want to zoom in. Okay, so like, I want to show us something like on the screen. So like for the color concept, we have two different types of properties for this particular item, which is the fill and the stroke. So for the fill, I can play with it and try to see what happens. So I have color red. So this is the fill color. The fill color is red and the stroke color is black. So this tells me that like I'm having the fill color to be the color inside and the stroke color as the color outside. So, and earlier I said that the stroke is kind of like the the indicator for the outer space of a particular element. So if I try to like change the color of this stroke to something else, maybe like blue, as you can see here, it's giving me something, but I don't think I like it because the color is kind of like off, it doesn't work together. So now I just want to like kill the stroke color. So, and to do that, I can either click on this eye icon, this icon that is showing like an eye, or I can use this minus icon to remove it. So I have the fill color alone. So if I put red on this place and on this rectangle, like it will not really come out, as you can see. So which is part of the basic stuff about design when it comes to color, as in color psychology. So I need to look for something that will really come out on this black color. So let me try to see if something okay. So as you can see, I'm trying to just drag the color selector, the main color selector. So I'm looking for a very lighter color. So I think this works. As you can see, it's showing and it's coming out, and I think everybody can see it. So I'm going to use that for the meantime. So like I have my login, I have my login selected, and the way I'm dragging it, I'm still following the red line on the screen that tells me that, hey, this item that you selected is perfectly centralized to the center of the screen, which is what I want. So all I just want to do now is I want to know, I want to cancel, I want to cancel, I want to cancel the, I want to cancel the outer, I want to remove the, the stroke color for this artboard. So I have to select the artboard again, go to the right panel. So as you can see, so Figma has something which is selection colors. I don't know to come up so soon, but every item that is inside this artboard, already have their colors registered. As you can see, this is the color for my login text, and this black is definitely the color for the button, which is the rectangular button. Then, the rounded rectangular button. Then this color is surely the stroke color that I wanted to remove. So I actually wanted to remove it or hide it. So that's where this eye icon comes to play, like either reveal it or, try to remove the visibility, or I want to remove it like completely. So I have this login button, but, I'm trying to just let us see how all this product design of a thing works together, because as you can see, I'm working towards something. I have a login button already. So that means I should create something like a, text input box where users can maybe put in their username and password. So how do I do that? That means I'm going to be needing like a rectangle. So, and earlier I said, if you want to make a rectangle, you go to the, you can use the keyboard shortcut R, or you go to the icons that you have at the upper corner, the left upper corner of the screen, which is the shape tools. So if I click on it, I have different shapes, and also to the right side of the icon list, I have the shortcut. So for rectangle is R, line L, arrow is shift L, ellipse is 0, and and other ones, although other ones doesn't really have the shortcut, but like at least I can still click on it. So I want to make an input box. So I'm very sure I'm going to be needing a rectangle, a rectangular shape. So I'm going to start from somewhere, but I will say something after drawing the rectangle. As you can see, I want to draw. I'm drawing freely now, but there's something that can happen if I do some certain things, and that thing is, if I want to make a square, I can hold my shift key. Holding the shift key will try to like constrain the item to the same size. It will make it a square size, but relaxing the shift key helps me to draw freely. So I want to make this input box, and based on the description that I was given, I was told that the width of the input box should be 350 pixels, and the height of, as you can see, every attribute of this rectangular elements, which is our input box, is every attribute is on the right panel. Like, there are some things you can do with right clicking, but it won't really, that's more like advanced something. So, but the basic properties, if you want to manipulate this rectangular input box that we want to work on, you have to come to the right panel where you have the alignment. You can align it to the left, align it to the center of this artboard, align it to the right, align it to the top, as you can see, align it to the middle, and align it to the bottom of the artboard. So right now, I want to just take this back to the center, and horizontally centralize it too. So we have horizontal alignment and vertical alignment. It's very important because, you know, everything, professional designers take note of alignment, spacing, and the basic stuff, you know. That's just what it depicts. I mean, I used to say, I don't know how people want to see that, but I used to tell people that, like, what actually differentiates professionals, like people that like, okay, I'm a professional is, you know, how you arrange your elements, you know, if you can arrange your design element in such a way that it gives, you know, you direct the user's view, like, and based on hierarchy, you know, you try to make sure that the most important elements are like they are visible, and you know, you make all those items in such a way that they are kind of like sharp and you know, they are just looking perfect where they are, you know, in their respective positions. So like, so to me, I used to tell people that, like, I try to study the basics, you know, try to just look at the basic of design rather than trying to just say, hey, this design is looking dope, how can I make it? Like, because I believe if you have a solid foundation, a very solid design foundation, you know, you can break any rule. So you can break design rules and create something that is out of those basic stuffs. Although they are the ones, I mean, they are the stuffs you need to create a crazy stuff, but at least you still need to just understand, like try to understand the basic things, you know, like it's all about the basic knowledge. So, and from there you build skyscrapers on it. So like now I want to show us how we can do some stuffs like so this one want to make sure that the height is 50 pixels. So I already entered 50 pixel for the height. So also like this can be a little bit rounded too, but the value of the rounded round corner radius can be a little bit smaller compared to this one. So let me try 5. So I think 5 is okay. It's not really conspicuous. So if you want to, like, I know to make an input box, you know, it has to be a transparent stuff. You know, you have a text, you know, let's say password. So let's say password. So you have your password here. So, you know, I don't want it to be like this. So I want to be like something that has a stroke, you know. So I want to change the color of the field color, which is the main color, to white, you know. Shade grab, like maybe, you know, just to show, like, let me zoom in so you can see the changes. So like I want to, not really white, not really completely white. So I just want to like, let me just use E. So like, so I just want to use E to just show that, okay, there's something here. Then also this password, I don't want it to be too dark. So I want to use, let's say I want to use CCC. I mean, sorry, let me use DDD. I mean, you know, like it's kind of like when you're going towards a lighter color along this line, you have F, and when you're going down, you have 0. So you are going from 0 to F, 0, 1, 0 to 8 to 9 to A, B, C, D, E, F. So like what I needed is something, you know, like this, you know, to just come up. So that means I need to kind of like reduce my field color to I just have to drop it to white so that, you know, so that you just come like that. So now I want to quickly talk about something. Like there's so many things to talk about, but as it comes, I'll just be talking about it. Like as you can see now, the distance between this and this is very important. And also the distance between this main input box and the edge of the screen is very important. So if you want to know the distance between an element to the next element or to the main artboard, all you just have to do is make sure that you select the item. Make sure that you select the current item that you got selected. then press your Alt key. So after pressing your Alt key, it will show you the various distances from the edge, from edges to edges, from the x-axis to the y-axis, from both left and right. So as you can see here, the reason why I'm having 30.5 and 30.5 here is because I make sure that I already centralize my item using this. So now the distance between this and this is 30.5. Then the distance between the edge of this input item to this password text is 15.82. So I want to make sure that this distance is, like a whole number. So I want to remove the point number. So I will just come to the right panel and try to make sure that this is sitting on 46 exactly. So as you can see, it's 15.5 now. So I can still manage with that. So I want to show you. So while you still have this item selected, you can press your Alt key, to the elements that you want to measure it, and actually use your left or up arrow, to adjust the distance. Like you press the left key, it will tell you that, okay, the values are changing. So like, as you can see now, I want to remeasure the distance between the password and the input box. So I have 20.5, of which it is equal on the y-axis, 12.5, 12.5. So now, like, this is how to measure your design, because trust me, like, measurement and spacing is very important. It is very important, like, so that like those elements will be precisely, arranged, and kind of like, have an equal spacing. So like right now, as you can see, like the distance between this login text and this one is 60.91. So I want to make sure that this has a whole number in the position value. So I want to use 80. Yeah, hello.
Yeah, so I think we're about 1 hour into the class now.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, so, and I was like, probably we should like get some feedback from the class, how it has been.
Yeah,
if you got them lost any place.
I was trying to just round up on this measurement of a thing, and
all right, no problem.
So on the y-axis, I want to make sure that this 544.27 is like a whole number. Let me just use 540. So it's kind of like jumped up. So all I just have to do is okay, like, yeah, I want to actually align these two elements, this box and this text. There are so many ways you can do it. If you have a very sharp hand, you can drag this login, and just move it until you see two lines, that is showing horizontally and vertically. And it's telling you that, okay, this is at the middle of the box. Or you can do it like this: select the two items and come to this alignment panel on the right upper right corner, and click to align to center and vertically centralize it. So this this is different from when you select a single item. When you select a single item and come here, it will align the item to the artboard. But when you select two items, like when you have two items like this one and this. So when you have these two items and you select this circle alone and you come here to the alignment panel, this one will align this single item to the artboard. But if you select these two items, if you select the two together and you try to come here, it will align the item to, based on each other, based on the selection. So like this one. So that means you have, let me try to change the color of this circle so that you understand what I'm talking about. So you have red, you have blue color. So now, like, let's assume that this red shape is towards the edge of this square box, and you want to make sure that this is sitting at the center. So you can actually drag it, drag with the mouse. And as you can see, it's telling me that, these two lines are, making it centralized and well positioned at the center of that shape. Or you can just, come here, come to the alignment button, align horizontal center, based on the horizontal position, and also click the second horizontal stuff. Let's assume that the item is here. So if you click on here, it will take you to the center of the other element. And also if you click the vertical centralization, to try to centralize it to the other item. So this is the stuff about alignment, the difference between when you have two items selected and when you have a single item selected. So I think with this, when we come back, we just try to finalize on this, our login page, and I'll just talk about some other stuff like FigJam and other items towards the end of the session, as we are 1 hour into the class. So, Favor.
Yes, everyone, hello. So basically, I was just going to ask if everyone is still following. The mics are muted. I see a few folks in the house, from Margaret to Lokwe, Lola, Kewe, Ore, and a few other people, Bola as well, Abraham. So I don't know if there's any part where people feel like, oh, I missed this a little bit. Can you come back to this? Can you clarify this? You could ask your questions now. The mics are open for you to speak. So.
Okay. Just can you give me just a few minutes so I can take some liquid and.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. So hello everyone. Once again, guys, how's it going? So yeah, to look, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, guys.
Yeah, good evening, man.
All right. It's nice being here. Joe, I joined a bit late. I think 5 minutes into the class, I guess. Though he has not started, the instructor has not started. You're still doing the introduction then. But it's been a nice one. Though I later saw the polls, but I'm not new to Figma though. But I'm not a very good designer, so. But I'm not new to Figma. But it's been a nice ride.
Yeah, all right, that's great. Thank you so much for that feedback. The most important thing is that we are all learning.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, great. That's great. That's great.
Yes.
So I see Kewe also in the chat saying it's going well. Thank you very much for that feedback, Kewe. We appreciate. So we've heard from the gents. Any lady wants to share one or two feedback so far? Has it been you're learning, any confusion anywhere at any point? Let me see. Can I call on a few ways? Okay, I see somebody on mute on my.
Yes. I have a question.
Go ahead. All right, go ahead with your question.
Thank you. I don't know if Mr. Olawale could please go over the alignments stuff, how we can align elements.
Okay, so aligning of elements. Okay, aligning of elements, that's one question there. Any other person with a question, something to go over it again before we begin the next hour of this interesting class?
Hello, sir. Favor.
Yes. Hello, Hebron. Thank you for calling me Favor, not sir. I appreciate that.
And it's kind of okay. Let me just ask the question. My question is the panel. I mean the artboard.
Okay.
The artboard. Is it that since we have different options, if I'm selecting the one for a particular phone, is it that it's going to be only for that feature, or since I'm selecting for an iPhone artboard, it's going to work on all iPhone, and it's not going to work on Android? Or if I'm selecting a particular, let's say I'm selecting for 6X now, iPhone 6X. If I select for iPhone 6X, is it going to work on iPhone 7 and 7H and 7 Plus? Is it going to work that way? That's my question. I don't know if you understand. Sir.
Yeah. Let's get Olawale back on the call. Olawale. Okay, so I think it's still away a bit. So, but for clarity, your question will be: will the elements on Artboard on a selected artboard work?
No, not the elements, not the elements. I mean the artboard itself,
Okay,
like the whole
artboard.
board now. Yes, the artboard itself. If I'm selecting for a particular model of phone, is it going to, like, say I'm selecting for iPhone now? Let's say, in the beginning of the class, it showed us you can select this canvas. The names of the canvas are there that you can select for this, you can select for that. But now I'm now asking that if I should select for a particular iPhone now, I'm selecting for an iPhone 6X. Is it going to work on iPhone 7, or is it going to be restricted only to iPhone 6? Then if I'm selecting for a Samsung phone now, which is Android, is it going to be, you understand what I'm trying to ask now?
Yeah, I understand.
I'm talking about the canvas, not the elements.
Okay, the artboard itself. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, yes. The DOP. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for that question. I think that's a very, very interesting question, and yeah, that we'll get to answering in a bit. Yeah. Is there anyone else with another question? So responsiveness. Yeah. Okay. Check. Just in case you're thinking and like, oh, will I get the recording of this or something? It's been recorded on YouTube, like it's been free to use, so you get access to that immediately after the class. So you can go to the same page where you register to access it, and it will be there. Yeah. Okay. Oops. All right. This is taking a little pause.
Yeah. Hello. I'm back.
Yeah. Welcome back, Olawale. Yeah. How you doing? I hope you got some liquid in.
Hello.
Yes. Hello, Olawale. Can you hear me? Hello, can anyone hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can also hear you.
Thank you. All right.
Cheers.
Yes. Hello, Olawale.
Yeah, I think his mic is still mute.
Yes. Probably is just trying to get set up once again. Okay. Well, I hope you've also gotten some liquid in as well for everyone on the call.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
My liquid is.
Hello.
Okay.
Thanks
Hello. Hello, Olawale. Let me shut him up in the background. Hello, Olawale, can you hear me? I can hear you.
Hello.
Yes. Hello, Olawale. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. You're welcome back.
Yeah.
I hope it was it liquid in form of H2O or liquid
Yeah,
in
it's
form
actually H2O, like
of
code H2O.
Okay, ice H2O. Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
I thought
Yeah,
it had
so
some
like
okay, go
based
ahead.
on where we are, like I made reference on
There's some
why
questions
we are
that came
designing.
in.
We just want to manipulate shapes, work with images,
Hello,
bring
Olawale.
text into it, and some other elements of design to make something look great. So I'll skip this fig jam because I'll come back to it later on. So I'll just talk about this particular slide here. So I want to talk about design system, responsive design, then integrate third-party tools, plugins, to hacking UI designs, collaboration, getting feedback, sharing, and doing it over and over again. So now, like I know
Hello, Olawale, before you go on.
it is expected of us to actually do a lot of design, like do some color design. I wanted to do that too, but it's just like the time will not really permit it because like there's so many things to talk about. So all I just want to do is make sure that we discuss the main things that will really help us in
Hello, Mr. Lawale.
our designs.
Can you hear anybody?
And so that it can boost our confidence as product designers.
Hello,
designers,
Mr. Wale.
Designers generally.
Yeah, tell me okay, I'll get to chatting with him.
All right.
Let me just try to finish. Let me just try to finish up on this and try to show us how the whole thing is. All right, so I'm going to duplicate this and change the text. Change the text property. Remember last time I was working with a semi-bold font, so I want to change it to regular so that it will look a little bit cool and not too big. So and also I'll try to make it 14, so it will look a little bit more cooler. So also I want to measure the distance between this. So I want to make sure that they have the same distance, so to say. So when I select the two, there's something that usually come up, which shows me the distance between the elements. So also I can manipulate, and I can, if I have two elements selected, I can actually manipulate. Okay, who want to ask questions?
Yes, Olawale, can you hear us?
Right. So I'm expecting questions, but I will just be going on because I quickly want to talk about design systems and responsive designs. And while at that, so I want to change the distance between these, and so I can use either this or come to the right panel to just like edit the distance between two selected items. So I'll just change the value to 20. Try to centralize this, using the vertical centralizing attributes, and also these two, make sure that they are well centralized. I want to reduce the stroke of this. I'll scroll down to the scroll I mean, if you want to like change the properties, you know, all you just have to do is scroll down to the color property here. So change the stroke color. So I'll be playing with the stroke color, you know, and just, you know, at least until I have something that is cool, you know. So as you can see, I'm having something cool, you know, I don't know. You know, you can actually work with anything that you feel is okay, but majorly uh, it has to be something that really, you know, that really is not shouting at the user. So also, I think the distance between this login stuff is kind of like a bit much. So like I want to reduce it to 30. So the reason why, you know, like the reason why it's not like I'm not really just making decision on why I want to make the distance between the login button and the input box, you know, just 30 pixel of a distance. The reason why I'm doing that is because, as you can see, I'm trying to like arrange my elements towards the edge, I mean, towards the lower part of the screen, because if you want to consider the user, you know, when the users want to interact with the app, you know, like you can just try to measure where the finger can reach, you know, easily, you know, I mean, in terms of usability and you know, so I think at this area, at least towards the middle of the screen here, the user will be able to, you know, at least reach for the input box and click on it to enter their details. And also after they finish putting the information, they can easily log in. So this is not actually like our final color that we're going to be working with, but let's just say this is it. So some other time you can have different types of buttons. You know, you can decide that, okay, I want my button to actually span through the length of the input box, or I just want something, you know, something that is just like a little bit smaller. So, but let's try this. Let's see how it goes. Then also, let me add some text, like stay sharp. Don't forget how you can add your text, you know, by pressing letter T or come here to select the text stuff. So that's how to actually do that. So I want to write stay sharp and enjoy your experience when you log in here on Treford. So like so this is how to make this happen. It can be manipulated. Don't forget, we are working with elements, and what we want to achieve is trying to, you know, eliminate unprofessionalism and try to just make sure that all our design elements is looking professional. So what I want to do with this text now is, number one, I want to increase the size. Like, and by increasing the size, I come to my right panel, you know, like I can see that on the text attribute, you know, like it's giving me 14. So I want to just bump it up a little bit to 25. Yeah, you know, it's going out of the screen. I don't know why, but you can resize it back, you know, as you can see. Just grab the edge, you know. So if you come to the edge, either like this or like this, you know, the cursor on the mouse is already changing. So just grab it. You can resize it to the, you know, length of the input box. But the reason why this one is like this is because I try to, you know, use enter to to drop it down. So now this is left aligned. If you check the text properties here, we have the name of the font, the font type. I mean the font style, the font size, and also we have the we have some other stuff. Coming, I want to get something. So like, as you can see, we have other properties for the text here. So what I want to do is like, I already bumped up the size of the text to 25 pixels. So, and the line height is auto, which is okay for me. The letter spacing. So let me show you what the line height is all about. If you enter 50, it gives it vertical spacing. So that's why it's good to just leave it at auto, because it's okay. So for the letter, for the letter spacing. For the letter spacing, we have 0%. So if we bump it to 20, you can see that. You can see that like it's it's kind of giving it a scattered stuff. So and also we have a paragraph spacing. Okay, so and also I'm sorry, I'm trying to like get something working. Something is something like I'm getting something that's kind of like distracting here. So
Olawale, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, sorry for that.
Yeah. So prior to before you started, we had some questions. Like when you took the short break, there were some questions. I don't know if. So we're trying to get your attention to.
So it's giving me a scatter look. Like I said, I'm sorry for the break. Something is not trying to like fix well here. So like I'm going to bump this back to 0. So like, so here, like there's something that people actually are having some issues with when it comes to manipulating text on Figma. So I'll just talk about this, centralize this, and add some other elements and just move on. So with the remaining 30 minutes. So text is one of the major elements that you work with from time to time. So when you have your text, it's either you have it as an automatic width text or a resizable text or something that is kind of like fixed. When you have a fixed text, when you try to resize, you try to like jump down. When you have a auto height, try to, as you can see, like this is the difference, like when you have it when you have automatic height, when you try to reduce the size of the text, it's kind of like stay in context inside the container. But when you select fixed size, when you try to resize the size of the container, the text will jump out. So you can see that we really need our text to stay inside the container. So anytime we try to resize it, so this kind of attribute is going to be very needed when you want to work with responsive design. So, and also you can centralize your alignment, right align your text, and also you can actually, try to align to the middle of the container and to the top. And that's if you're working with one-line text, that will show. So let's say I have this. So this is located at 159. So I want to make it 165. So from the top. So also when you have your login, I want to add all these things, like they are actually common stuffs, All you just have to do is like measure things up so that everything can kind of like stay in one place, like everything can stay sharp. So you can say forgot your password, like this one can be here. So all you just have to do is measure the distance from the login screen. So I want to make this distance I want to make it 25. So like if I'm clicking on the, don't forget last time I said when you click on the item, just press your Alt key, the key beside the space bar, So while pressing it, just hover on anything that you want to measure the item against, either the artboard or the next or the next item. So you can all use your direction key to move it. So I'm moving up or down. So I want to move down so that the distance between this and the login button can be 25. So the distance between the login button and this is 30. So this one is 25. So also you have your don't have an account, create account, So now you can actually, all these things, like they're kind of stuff that we see from time to time. So, it's just about, okay, how do I go about it? So this is how you go about it, one by one. So I selected this with the text tool. I tried to select create account only, and going to the right panel. So I want to change the color property to, like, let me show you what I want to do. So I want to change the color property to like, let's say blue. So with that, I want to also try to use the opportunity to like, I have this color blue, so I want to use the opportunity to just change the color to blue too, like so, and also the login text to white, So I have my login screen. At least it's not bad though, but we are still working on it. So this forgot password, like I don't want to. I want it to be dark, but I don't want it to be too dark, so that it won't be distracting, like if it's showing too much, even the user can forget their password. So we don't have to let it, be that conspicuous, So I want to make it a little bit down. I want to tone it down. So the only thing is, trying to make this work. So now I want to show you something. When you have an element like this text that is having double color, if you want to change the color, just come to the right panel. Figma has that feature. It shows you the current selection colors. So you know that this blue is for the create account, and this gray ash color is for the don't have an account. So I can select this and try to bump it up a little bit. Just give it 6565 is okay. So to make it like that. So any other thing that you feel like you want to add, you can actually add it to the stuff. So this is our login page. On a normal day, a login page doesn't have extra information. So you won't say that I'm the one that tell you. This one is just for design purpose. For training purpose, because this is more like a splash screen or something. So, but what we are talking about here is how to actually use Figma to work on products, at least in some some level of knowledge share grab. So let me quickly talk about responsiveness. Now, before responsive, I want to talk about design system. You know, creating a design system is actually a different ball game entirely, because it takes a lot of preparedness and plan to do it. Normally, like, it's something that you have to work with developers. You know, like, for example, you say, I'm pressing my A key now, so I want to make a desktop, a MacBook Pro Artboard. So let me name it design system. So let's say this is our design system now. Let me try to zoom back a little bit. So I hope you can still see my left and right panel like that. So for design system, you know, everybody comes together and be like, okay, for our button, let me just copy the button from here. I don't want to, sorry, like, I don't want to. So I selected the two together. If you want to select, you can select from out, or you can select, like, click on this, press shift, and click on the second element. So I'm just Control C. Or I can just be like, okay, I've selected the two, press my Alt key again, the Alt key that I used to do all those measurements and all, you know, I just press on it and drag to the next artboard, you know. So I think that one is cooler than copying and pasting, because sometimes it can just paste anywhere, you know. Imagine, so it's pasted on the same spot. So I don't want that to happen. So you can actually drag the stuff that you want to copy with Alt key. So design system is like, oh, we have this button. Everybody decides that, okay, we want to use blue. Then we have another button that has only stroke. So I want to copy the color of this fill color and create a stroke color and paste it and press enter. So I want to now make this one white. So the text that is in between, like, that is inside the button. So I will now use the color, the blue color on it. So creating a design system is like this, you know. Say, okay, we want to have variants of buttons, you know. How is our all these stuffs, like all these input stuffs, like, as you can see, I'm dragging and everything is moving. So, you know, like, what is our input gonna look like? So we now name it input button, then, and some other stuff, you know, forms, icon, size, and some other stuff, you know. But sometimes you can be the only one that will make decision on that. Sometimes, like, you can still, like, work together with developers and they'll be like, yeah, this is cool, this is okay, we should make it like this. So based on different ideas and different decisions, you know, based on the size of the team, you know. So that's design system. So design system is good because you won't have to be creating buttons again. All you just have to do is, like, convert these things to components, you know, correctly, and, you know, create components. So this is a component already. So as you can see, if we check the left panel here, you will see components one. So all I just want to do is do Control R and renaming the blue button. So this is a component. So if you come to assets, you will see, no, I talked about assets the other time. So since I created a component, so it has become an asset. So I can use it and use it and use it anywhere, even if I have a different page. You know, this is like a page which I can still rename. Like, I know I've not talked about that, but I'm talking about it now. I can rename a page that, okay, let's say this is our mobile app page. Then I can create another page and be like, this is the web app page. I can have another page like design system, you know. And also I can have another page like like brand elements, maybe like where you store all the logos in different sizes and all, you know. So that's that about pages. So if I go back to, you notice that like there's nothing here, there's nothing here, there's nothing here. So this is our mobile app. So let's say I copy this artboard. Now, if you want to select an artboard, just click on the parent, this name or this top panel and Control C. So I can paste this here, since it's our design system, and also this as our other materials, you know. So that's about design system. So let me go to responsive design now. So using these available materials here, like I want to talk about responsiveness now. So, and I would like to just slow down now and talk about the responsiveness because it is very essential. Yeah, there's still a lot of things to be done to the responsiveness side of Figma. I'm very sure the team are working on different stuff so that like things will run smoothly. But this is how responsiveness works. For every element that you have, every single element, you have what we call, if you check the if you check the right panel for this current selected item, let me make a copy of this input and select it and increase the size. Now, this is a text, this is a button. Like, so I have these items, I have this shape. Let me give this a few of red so that you can understand what I want to do now. And I would like everybody to just follow this, smoothly and in a cool manner. So I won't rush. I'll explain this. So I just want to get ready the things I want to use. So now, this is my artboard. So let me assume that this is my initial screen size. So I want to move these ones to the middle. Yeah, I know it's not centralized. Let's say I just want to manage it like that. So let me drag this one to here. Let's say I have this one in twos, So now I want this one to stay at the center, regardless of the size, like, or let me just even use, I want to use this. I want to use this. So I want to use the sign up in input form. So to explain the responsiveness. Now, regardless of this size, I want this to just be like this, stay at the center. This one to stay at the center too. But there's something like that I would like to do. I would like this one and this one to like go front and go back. So these ones, let me try to change the color to a blackish, bold or extra bold type. Now, so these elements now, if I try to resize this screen, like if I go like this to, let's say, a tab size, this is like a tab size. So I want this one to be like this. I want this font to be here. And I want these ones to actually be here like this, like I want it to stay at the middle. Likewise, this. So for the sake of this stuff, I'm going to group this one the text and the box. I'm going to put this one. There's other stuffs you can do to it, though. You can use auto layout, but I don't want to bring auto layout into this thing yet, so that it will not complicate the whole issue. So this is how I want my tab view to be. But you know, if I resize this one now, like it will not look like that. So I want to bring this one back and this one back also. So, and I want to resize this artboard back to let's say the mobile view first. So now responsiveness. There's something we call constraints. You know, constraints, the normal definition of constraints, like, oh, this is a very serious constraint. I can't go further. I mean, there has been a constraint, you know, I mean, the government has banned Twitter, so it has been a constraint, like on posting my goods, you know, online and stuff, you know, like on reaching out to my followers. So it has been a constraint. So constraint, like we want to constrain these stuffs to a particular position, so that when the screen size changes, they will maintain that position. Now, every element has a particular constraint feature. So if you look closely, you will see this blue line, these two blue lines towards the vertical, axis and the horizontal axis. So these lines means that like this element is actually constrained to the top and to the left. Now, this is how you will know. So if you go to this right side of the screen, you will see that we have this constraints attributes of the current selected element. And in the same way, we have something that is showing that something at the top here and something at the left. So what if we change it to this right? So that means it will show you that, oh, the constraint towards the x-axis has been changed to right. So that means, what it means is that when you resize this, like it has been kind of like fixed to the right side, that whenever the screen goes to the right, to the far right, it should move along with it. But what if we change it back to the left? Let's see what happens to the screen. So as I'm moving it, you can see that like it has been constrained to the left. So nothing is happening, nothing happens to it. So this one also is constrained, to the left, but I want it to move along, you know, whenever the screen changes. So that means I need to change it here, you know, click on this icon, the right icon, or go here, try to use left or right. There are other options, but we'll come to that if time permits us. But I just want to give us the basics of responsiveness, which is something you can actually build on basics. So now these ones are fine. Like all I just want to do is like I want them at the medium, you know, like it's constrained to the left and up, and the top too. So I want to see that, okay, what if instead of left, what of center? Let me try center. So as you can see, the blue line has changed, so it is staying at the center. So let me use the same thing for this one, because I also want it at the center of the screen. So let's see what we have so far. Yeah, I think we are doing it more small. So as you can see, you know, like, I mean, so from mobile view to tab view, even to desktop view. So our login, our username and password is, you know, is just staying at the same position towards the center of the screen, which is very nice, which is what we want. So now What about our login? Also, that one has to be at the center. So that means we have to come to the left, to the x-axis option for the constraints attribute and select center. So let's try to see what happens. So let me zoom out on the stuff so that you can actually see. See how it is. So I'm trying to resizing back to mobile view, to tablets, to desktop view. So, and don't forget that this one has been constrained to the right, like anything that goes, like that makes the screen, that makes the artboard to be resized, to be increased in size towards the right direction. It goes along with it. Okay, so I want to show us what happens if we select left and right. Let's see what happens to this button. So things are not working again. So as you can see, so this one is actually increasing in size. So that means what I can use left and right for is, like, let's say I have this stuff here like this. I still have everything intact. So, but for this one, I selected left and right. So I now try to, you can see what is going on. So that means if I want this thing to actually be going as long as the screen is keeping the extension, so it will follow it. But what is happening here is because the reason why this one is not following is because, let me show you what happened. This one has been grouped. So this is group 1, group 3, group 2. So these are grouped elements. So if I try to right click on this, don't forget we have right click, and there's so many things you can do on it. Like so many to bring it forward, for arrangement, or send backward, bring forward, send backward. There are shortcuts also to that. So from here, you can be learning the shortcuts, one by one. Let me give you like a quick, like one cheat that I used to do. So, most of the time, like if you study the design apps, the design softwares, Photoshop, Illustrator, Corridor, everything, Adobe XD, especially these product design softwares like Adobe XD, InVision, and all, they almost have the same interface. Like I have a particular app called Lunacy. I use it on Windows for sketch files, to design sketch files. If you want to collaborate with people that use that work with Sketch, so you can use it to, work on Sketch and directly upload to the Sketch cloud. So the first thing I do is try to click on try to see the interface, try to click on everything, try to see what will happen, then use my try to hover on it. Maybe it will show like an hint, like a name of the current stuff, the icon, and a shortcut, maybe Control B or something. So from there, I'll be learning the shortcuts, little by little. Then also like this, when you have a right-clicked element like this, it shows you more of the shortcuts that you have, and then from there, you can learn like one by one, and so, and most of the time, like you have these shortcuts, like they are kind of like the same from one platform to another. So long story short, try to just learn the shortcuts one by one. So what I want to do here is, like, I want to ungroup this button so that we can see what left and right does. So I'll press Ctrl-Shift-G. I think it's the same thing with Photoshop and some other stuff. So this one, I can select this. So let me see how this thing works now, since this text is having left and right selected on the constraints attribute, and these two left and right. So let me see if the login will move. Oh, it's not moving. So that means I can't use it on my text yet. So I just have to make it center so that, so I've changed the text, to center. So the text is moving, but the shape is expanding because I've selected it that it has been this, like what it means is that at this particular position, at this left side, it has been constrained, and at the position towards this right, it has been constrained. So if the screen is going towards the right direction or to the left direction, so it will still maintain this distance, this 44.5 distance, regardless of what happens. So let's try to see if that's true or not. As you can see, it's still maintaining 44.5 and 36.5. So which shows that this element is not centralized, it's not well centralized. So if I use it now, you can see, like, I try to centralize it with my align horizontal, and from the align horizontal, you can see that the shortcut for horizontal alignment is Alt H. So next time I won't be pressing this icon again. I'll just press Alt H. So H for horizontal, V for vertical. So if I want to do vertical alignment, I'll just use Alt V, but I'm not doing that for now. So responsiveness, there's this other stuff. I mean, these are the basic stuff about responsiveness. Like, as you can see, I'm trying to play with this thing to show you that if I tell you that do it like this, do it like that, that's not the final thing. I want to, I know most of people here are already doing one or two things with Figma, but like for the ones that are still yet to do stuff, that they want to now start doing stuff, I used to try to scatter everything, like it's very essential, just try to play with everything, see what happens, and so if you now need questions, if you now need answers, need some one or two things, you can now maybe ask around that, okay, how do I go about this? I want to achieve that. Oh, okay, just press this one, move it up and slide it in. So so that's that about that. So to finalize on responsiveness, our time is fast spent. There's something that is called auto layout. Yeah, auto layout is just like this. Let me give you the simple stuff about auto layout. So this one is grouped. I want to ungroup it. I right click on group. So I want to make a copy and I press Alt and click on it to drag out. So I have my text. So I have my text. So I want to change the color to black so that it can show well. So I have my text. I want to show you how auto layout works. So for this text alone, let me move this. Don't forget this shape. I'll make reference to it again. So for this text, this is our text. So I want to make an auto layout. How do I do that? I can right click on this, go through the options, group selection, frame selection, blah, 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 add auto layout, create component. So I've seen add auto layout. So the shortcut is Shift A. So I'll not use the right click option. I want to like form boss, and I will use the shortcut key because I already know it. So why not me? So I'll just press Shift A. Yeah. So for something happened, immediately I press Shift A. If you check the left panel, then there's a frame, that is automatically added to the element. So inside the frame, the text, my text is framed. So the stuff that is like this rectangular shape, space that is surrounding surrounding the text is a frame. Now, also on the right panel, immediately, let me go back. Check like this text is selected, and don't forget to note this right panel here within this constraint and this place. So like immediately I press Shift A, something happened. Like Shift A, something happened. Yeah, we have a frame. You know, my text is inside of it, and also on the right side, on the right panel, I have this auto layout attribute for this selected text. So now, one thing about auto layout is you can either have auto layouts in horizontal direction or vertical direction. I will give you an example of what that means shortly. Then you can have a spacing between the items, but you can't work. You can't edit the. You can't work with the item like now because you just have one item yet. So like we can't do that. So now we have padding around the item, so you can still work with this one. So the padding is the distance between the edge, like the small edge here. Like the padding is the distance between the edge of this item, of this my text, to the edge of the frame that surrounds the text. So now, like, I'll show you how this thing works now. So we have this selection. So we don't have a field. So what is selected is the frame. Like if you want to select the text, you can select the text using the left panel, or you can double click to select inside. You know, there are some other design app like that that's kind of do that. So also we have other options, like I want to change the color for this frame. So I'm going to select the fill. So if I select the fill, I want to see what will happen. So I'm dragging the color. So that means I can actually fill the frame. And also, let me see if I can work with the stroke. Oh, wow. So I have the stroke, and the stroke color is visible now. So let me just go back to, so I changed the color back to, white, you know, by pressing F. So what happened is, I want to show us the padding, you know, like this padding around the stuff. So let me use 20. So as you can see, padding is just like a space between the edge of this item, you know, like, and the edge of the frame. So as you can see, I bumped up the value, you know, from 10 to 20. So I want to take it back to 10. But there's something that I want to show us. You know, if you click here, it gives us the alignment and padding option, whereby, as you can see, I have equal padding. I have equal padding on the element. So like, I have the top padding, I can reduce it to be 5. The lower padding, which is the bottom padding, I can use 5 too. So I can use the padding towards the left to be 25, and padding towards the right to be 25 too. So what I'm trying to achieve here is, like, I want to show you that you can use auto layout to create a button. And also, as you have this selected, don't forget that we have our corner radius. So I can use a value of 5 pixels to create my my corner radius for this auto layout. Don't forget we are working with auto layout, not the actual shape. It's different from when you just draw a shape and just have the text and just draw it over it. So it's kind of like a different thing. So now, like, if you want to access the text, like I said, just select the frame and select the text, then select your T text key so that you can make changes and say sign up. So now I want to show something, the attributes of auto layouts, and finally talk about FigJam, and then we'll round up. So this auto layout is just part of the whole design thing. It doesn't stop us from doing our design this way. But if I want to actually convert this stuff to auto layouts, it will kind of like reduce the size of the frame that surrounds the item. So it will just convert that rectangle, the former rectangle that was drawn, to form the input. It will just convert it to like an equal, like something close, like an equal padding, and something close to that shade graph. So now you can now bump up the value and say that, okay, since I want the distance between this text and the edge of the input box to be 20, so I want this one to be, let's say, 55. So like, so I can now manually bump this up, but it is actually good to use values. Like, let's say I have 200, so let's say 350. 350 is too much. 300 or 260. Yeah, so 260. So 260 actually works for me. But don't forget, this is on auto layout. So I want to convert this one to auto layout too. I select the text and the rectangle and press Shift A. That was how I achieved the first one here. So select the two items, press Shift A. So it will convert the rectangle to a frame, and also you can come here, bump these values like 20, and bump this one to 260, like we have it, or 270. 270. So this one too, let me make it 270. So like, reason to draw this one so that it can be equal. Now, like all these things, it's like there's a particular reason why I'm making these values on padding and all, because at the end of the day, when you're working with complex responsiveness, when you want to like, change the screen, you can have items that are like horizontal cards. When you try to change the screen to mobile screen, so all those stuff we just turn to a vertical stuff. So, but the spacing that you have here will also have an effect on the total result that you have. So now to cap auto layouts, I will talk about direction. So these two are auto layouts. I can actually select the two and also give it an auto layout. So this two is also an auto layout, as you can see. So now this is where this horizontal and vertical direction will come to play. If I select horizontal, so let me copy this out and bring it to the public, so that let me quickly create a Surface Book stuff. So I want to have a more plain view. So I try to paste it here. So these two, they are an auto layout. I've already framed the two. So as you can see, frame 2, frame 3, and frame 2 that contains the password and username. So now, so like what do I want to show? I want to show us the difference between the horizontal and vertical direction. So because this was arranged in a vertical manner before we converted to shift, to auto layout, so it doesn't really tell us that, okay, yeah, it's just like that. But if you come to the auto layout settings, attribute here, you see that you can change it to horizontal direction. So now let me show you what happened. So I selected this one. I use my Alt key to drag this one out. I just selected, double clicked on this, use Alt to make a copy out. Remember how we make copies? We can't be using Ctrl C and Ctrl V. It's kind of like, it's not like pro level. So I want to show you what will happen to the horizontal vertical each if we add another item. So for auto layout, if you want to drag another item in, all you just have to do is drag it in that domain, in the perimeter of that auto layout, like as long as it's in that space, it will enter it. So what will now happen is, okay, before I do that, let me change the name of this one. I press, you can actually change the name, like you can rename a text directly if you press your T, like if you press your T, just click directly on any text, you'll be able to have a direct editing without selecting before you reach the text. So I want to say new guy. So we have a new guy. So this new guy, I want to, or let me say, like this one, I want to change the, I bumped this one up to 270. So I want to bump it back to 50 on both sides so that it can make a button. So I want to rename this one to login. So, and also I want to make this frame is also an auto layout, don't forget. So I want to just change the color to blue. So I want to pick the color, there's color picker for those that do proper design and, so beside this color selector, you have this, eye drop, like this thing that I use for eye drop, for draws and all, just select it. So as you're moving around, any color that comes, that comes up on its way, it's kind of like, show it towards the right corner, the top corner. So you can pick it and select it for this item. So for the stroke, I want to actually kill the stroke. I don't want the stroke. Then you come down, like since I'm selecting this auto layout element, this selection colors is, is actually telling me that you have 2 items selected. And so I'm very sure this one is for the login. So I just want to use white, which is FFF, enter. So I have my login. So don't forget, this is an auto layout element. So if anytime, since I'm dragging it towards the area of this existing auto layout, it will add it to wherever I want it. So, and it's not possible for me to have my login button towards the middle. So if I try to click on the auto layout frame, so you will see that it's telling me that for this auto layout, the distance, the space between items is 20. I can bump it up to 40. Change a graph. So it's giving me an increase in space, but I just like the 20. So I'm going to leave it as 20. So I want to move this login to the right. So if I get it selected, I can just use my arrow key left and right, to switch to wherever I want it to be. But we want to have it towards the right area. I know we've spent a lot of time. So this is auto layout. So auto layouts can be used in responsiveness too. But these things, it's kind of like takes so many time to actually go about it. But I think I've touched some basic stuff. Okay, so rounding up now, let me just show us something. Let me show us something quickly. What's that? Okay, this one is open. So I want to show you, just want to show you FigJam. Okay, so I want to create new here. Go to FigJam. So FigJam is the new stuff. So I won't wait, like I won't be wasting much time on it. So as you can see here, like we have this right here. So we have the select, the move tool, the hand tool, the marker tool, ellipse, which is the shapes and other shapes, the sticky notes and text, connector, library, stamp, image, and here we have emoji, stamp, cursor. So how to use it is like in a proper team, you have collaborations. So you say you drag a sticky note. How do we work on the branding? Buy. I mean, we are in Nigeria. I mean, UAR, so like buy should be something like. So like another person can now say, okay, so this is the flow, login, then log into to sign up to for those that have used any whiteboard app before, they will understand, like Whimsical and some other stuff like that. So login, sign up, inbox. Let's say you want to create like a quick user journey, something. So it's like, okay, cool. So like you can use text to create text, like green box is go. So you can increase the size, like you can bold it, like and add bold attributes. Then you can use connector and be like, yeah, this note is connected to this. Although most of the time, like, you use it for, sitemap. Let me quickly show something. I know we spend a lot of time, so let me just show something that I did. A recent or something like so. Okay, so we have these like for those like do all this stuff, like this, something that someone is working on, like a sitemap for an app, show like the direction, the flow of the app, the actual app after you've created the old stuff. So so that, then also you can have some other emoji, like maybe show some love to them. Hey, wow, this is cool, like other stuff like that. Then also we have cursor charts, whereby on your cursor you can say, how do I see the users on the new page if I select blah 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 blah, like, so the other person that you're collaborating with, we see it. Then on the main stuff, like when you want to share Figma design stuff with people, like you kind of go to the right upper panel, click on share. So you just enter the email of people there, like, anybody, like, and they will get an invite, but you can make them either viewer or an editor. So to make them an editor, you just have to move your file to a team project. So that's the new stuff that Figma introduced. So after creating a team, then you can add people to edit and also to just view the stuff. So like working with developers, I do say that as a product designer, it's not a bad thing if you just read up all these CSS frameworks. To just have an idea of what you can design for developers. Yeah, there's nothing you can like. There's nothing you design that can be, turned to something that users can interact with. But what if you are working with a beginner developer, a beginner front-end developer that is just starting, that hasn't gotten their code juice yet? So you two have to kind of like have an understanding of the basic stuff that you can make for people, for them to work with. So so they've taken the lights. So I think that's kind of like bring us to the end of the stuff. I can see a lot of chat already. Like
Thank you so much, Olawale. Olawale, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, that's great. So I don't know if anybody has one question. So there was a question earlier on about alignment of elements on the artboard. Yeah, somebody asked if you could do a run through it. The session was very interesting. Okay, yes, we already have some very interesting feedback coming in from the chat from Margaret. So yeah, but is there anyone currently in the house here that has a question and would like to ask? So we can just do that. You can unmute your mic to ask or just drop it in the chat. Based on all he has shared so far, straight from design systems, to working with setting up your Figma tool, using it, then the FigJam, the new features introduced by Figma, all of those things have been really awesome. We know we spend a lot of time, but if you have one or two questions, we just want to quickly take one or two questions as we round the whole thing up. Anyone with any questions?
I know I didn't touch using plugins, but plugins are just ways of adding extra features to, like, for example, like this one, Iconify is for adding icons. There's no icon that you're looking for that you can actually get. When it comes up, you just search for, let's say, home. So it gives you different options. Select the one that you want to use and just drag it into your design. So you have the home icon already. So that's just plugins for you. You have plugins for any other thing, for searching for image or anything you just want to do. So that's it, Sha.
Yeah.
I think.
Thank you so much, Olawale. Thank you so much, Olawale. It's been a great
I don't know if I can introduce the stuff we talked about to them about the training.
Kindly let's take this question first and we'll be done with it.
Okay.
So there's a question here. It says, I would like to ask if there's a designers community to join, help people develop more and be challenged to do more. Yes, there's a designers community. There's a designers community, Treford community. I'll share the link in the feedback emails. So if you registered, I'll share a link to join that in the feedback emails. All right. Thank you very much, Tolu. Yes. So just before you share, I would like everyone that is on the house to thank